It was both 23andMe and Ancestry, and today we're going to just look at my 23andMe testing. I did this testing because my son in December told me about having a maternal first cousin, and he should not have a maternal first cousin because I thought I was an only child. So I'm going to give you the rest of a video that I shot the other night to explain the story a little bit more, and we'll see you back in a moment. Hi, so I have received my 23andMe results, and I think that's enough information to kind of get out there for people to see. And so it's the day after Valentine's Day. I received the information on Sunday, so it was almost a month before I got that information back. The Ancestry stuff is not back at all. And I think I'm going to keep that separate because this one was the one where I was really looking to verify actually if I had a brother, a half brother. I don't like saying half brother because how can we be half of anything, but I do understand half genetic brother. And I did have that confirmed with 23andMe. And so I'm going to focus on that little journey, that little part of the journey, because the Ancestry is more for fun, and I expect it to be finding genetic things. A little bit possibly. There could be some surprises, maybe another sibling out there. I don't know at this point. But maybe many. I don't know. We were a little bit shocked that my father, particularly in this case, I think he had at least an inkling that he had a son, if not some sort of relationship. I don't know. I suspect that because the name, once it was there, was familiar, and I do know my father went to visit people with that name when he was in his hometown, and I'm not certain. There were lots of things that came back to me, and one of them is that I don't feel that this person was really keen on me, keen on having a sister, and you know, since he's a little older, I'm sure I may have looked like somebody, I don't know, I would have probably seemed intrusive. I don't know. And I don't know if I ever will know. I am going to tell you though that I did message him and did not receive anything back. And then my family's asking, did you hear? And I'm like, I'm not going to spend months of this, did you hear anything stuff. So I got a little proactive. I had done a little background check because you find out for sure you have a half brother. So then you do the name check and you do a little bit of a background check because you want to know who you're letting in your life. Especially since some other things have come up about my father that were definitely not favorable. And so I just definitely needed to do a little bit of a background check just to know who this person was. And, nothing really outstanding. So I waited a few days, and then yesterday, Valentine's Day, I was like getting a little anxious, and I decided to do another search, background search, and get more information, make sure I had an accurate phone number, address. I had considered writing him a letter. And then, which I still might do, and then that would be it, but I don't even think I will do that. I don't know. I mean, it's something that I could do, but probably not, because I don't have it 100% confirmed that I found him, so I guess, I probably am not going to do that. So I guess it's all in his court the more I think about it. Even as I'm doing this, that's why I do it. It kind of is good therapy. It kind of helps me get my head straight. especially with things like this. And I've deleted one of these videos, so who knows? Maybe I'll delete this, excuse me, delete this one. But, I found, verified this information, but it did list more immediate family members and relationships where the other side hadn't. And I contacted one of his children. And, well, I didn't contact her just immediately. I looked at her and looked at his wife, and but first I looked at her thinking, well, Anise is, I did Facebook searches, is what I should say, of my sister, the woman that would be my sister-in-law, and there was nothing. And the woman that would be my niece, I didn't look at anyone else. And on the woman that would be my niece, her name is kind of unique, so which was actually very helpful. And I found her, and I looked at her page, and there was some mention of her mother and a photo of her father and mother together, and her mother was deceased, and it indicated in the post. So I looked back at the white pages, looked at what would have been my sister-in-law, verified she was deceased, verified where this woman was from, and where my niece would be from. So I contacted her in Messenger and just, told the name, and that there's a message for if she knew this person's name, and if she did, she could pass this information to check his 23andMe account. I have messages for him, and she let me know it was her father, and I said, I hope this doesn't upset him too much, and she said it won't, and smiled. And that's where we're at right now. So and it was more like, I hope this won't shock him. And so and she said it won't, and she smiled. So that doesn't mean he will contact me for sure. It just means it's not shocking that I exist. So that's where we're at. And pretty much nowhere. Pretty much I've sort of remembered bits and pieces that I may have known that this guy existed, and that's kind of a trip in itself, because I must pocket these little traumatic things somewhere in my brain, and just forgot about him. I even think I knew of her existence as the names kind of click, and I kind of have an image of my father holding her as a baby, possibly even. I don't know. I mean, there were always lots of people when we visited my dad and his relatives. So I don't know. I don't know if that's, it would be nice to clarify what I think are memories and, know, but I don't know that I ever will. So now I come to the reason why I put this video separate, and I have made this video and am telling you this stuff. On the other one, I kind of teared up at this point, and I'm proud of myself for not tearing up, because I don't want to let you know how heartbroken I am. And it isn't completely this stuff about having a brother and having him reject me, probably yet again, because I think that was the pattern, and then I would pocket the information. But I'm not sure, because, the memory can play tricks, so I don't know. At this point, I'm just not really sure, because we're talking 20 to 40 years ago, over 20 and 40 years ago. And earlier than that, maybe even like over 50 years ago. So I don't know for certain any of this. And I don't know why I would have been able to block it like that. That's kind of frightening for me. But lots of things have come out about my father's character through this, and it is my father that I'm extremely disappointed in, because he knew he was dying. He could have at least indicated that he thought he had a son, and the possibility that he had a son, and that should have been like one of the most important things that he said near the end of his days to me. And so that this wouldn't have been so shocking now. And there were other things that have come out about him, which is probably, I'm not sure I will ever share that kind of information, but it might be a great source of information to use in some piece of writing, but I'm not sure if the world other than my family will ever see it, so I don't know. But I am not upset with my brother, or half brother, however you want to put it, biological half brother. I am not upset with him. I totally understand, especially in light of some of the things that I learned about my father. And I don't always refer to him. I don't refer to my father as dad anymore because of other things. I'm trying to learn not to think too fondly of him. And that's hard. That's hard because I memorialized him and idolized him even for 22 years after his death and missed him. And now I do not ever want to see him, but it has nothing to do with my biological brother. Half brother, I should say. Nothing to do with him. Here's the upside of my little search, which I kind of feel like I was stalking a little bit, and I apologize, but it just was to help me have some sort of closure on this. And so, because I don't know if he will ever contact me any which way, but now I know he knows that information is there for him too, and I've reached out to him, and if he goes to that site, he will get my phone number. We are open to getting to know him, to knowing any information he might have, and compare notes on things. That would be fine. I would welcome that, but I am not sure he is of the same mind, and that's okay. But the good thing is this: I do know he seems to have had a happy life. I can wish him well. Like, maybe he'll look at this video someday, and it's nice to know that I have at least a niece out there, and she had a family and looks happy, and that's something I never had before, is the possibility of more than just the family I have. I had some relationships yet with some of my father's relatives, but they were more distant after he died, and have become a little more so, I think, strained with some other things that have come out. And, well, I'm pretty much alone in the world, and even my own family on the other stuff, we're going to be dealing with a lot. And I'm not sure how much I can share with you of that journey, but I can share this little portion of the journey because I felt it was important to get a video out there that wasn't so hearts and flowers wonderful. These DNA tests just are wonderful. They bring families together and blah, blah, blah is the message that you get. I found very few negative ones like this, very few. And maybe they're few and far between. But when you do a search like this, and my son did not, all he was looking for was genetic information to reassure his wife and him that when they felt ready to have children, that they would not pass anything on. And, you know, they are approaching their 30s, they're, you know, in their late 20s, and I don't know when they will have a child, and I don't expect more than maybe one or two. And I'm not even sure that I expect that. They may choose to adopt, they may choose not to have children at all. And I am fine with either decision. Any of those decisions, that's, you know, so there's that. But the thing is, I do know that my brother had a family, he seemed happy, and that makes me feel very good. I think he was probably more blessed than he realizes to have not been raised by our biological dad. He was not an easy man. He was not a completely truthful man or honorable. And I am learning just how unhonorable he was. So, you know, it makes me feel good that, you know, he seems to have had a good life and continues to. So I wish him well. And, you know, I'm still here. And, you know, my family, my children would like to know him more maybe than I would. So, you know, if he can have a relationship with them, that's okay. Especially my son. You know, he's had some contact with him, not knowing he was his nephew. So, you know, that's nice. And, you know, so 23andMe or Ancestry, any of those can be a Pandora's box. And you don't know what's going to come out of Pandora's box. I've had so many friends that have told me on Facebook that have had sort of similar experiences to mine, but, you know, the people that they learned they were related to were a little more open than what seems to be going on here. And I think that's important to know, that sometimes the answer is, I don't want to see you. I don't want to know you. No, go away. You know, that's sometimes the answer that you get. And sometimes it might, you know, it might be that just it's taking time for him to process or get information. I don't know. I don't know where he's at. But anyway, right now it's not looking too good. And I just wanted you to know about this part of the journey. And so here we come to the end of this video. And you never know, maybe my update when I do my ancestry will have, or maybe I'll have a separate video and I'll have contact with my half-brother and I will know more things about him and his family and things will be good. I don't know. I am thinking probably not. So, Tammy Erickson here for An Accidental Retiree. And if you liked this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel. See you soon.